Welcome to Becoming Her.
Your new space for confidence, growth and real conversations.
So, Happy New Year. Hope you all had a lovely festive break.
Happy
a lovely
2026.
I know, it's
Scary.
crazy, isn't it? So this is the part where you sit down, you start creating vision boards, you're writing down your goals, and then they just get left in your notes or in your journals or in a drawer and they're never to be seen again.
But honestly, what people don't realise is that doing all of that is just an instant dopamine hit. But what locking in actually means is holding yourself accountable, staying consistent and creating buildable habits that help you achieve those goals throughout the year.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about what we're leaving behind in 2025, who we're wanting to become in 2026, and what things we're going to do to get there. So grab a cuppa and a notepad or a journal and a pen. Pause this video if you have to go and grab it, and let's lock in for 2026.
Yeah.
How exciting.
So while you're getting yourself ready and getting your notepad at the ready, I just want to say that 2026 it does feel different. I don't know about anyone else, but to us it feels a completely different year. We don't know if it's the age we're at. We understand that everyone's at a different place in their life. And for us being 27 and getting to that point where I feel like your frontal lobe's developed and then you're deciding, am I going to settle down? Do I need to still have fun? Everyone else is getting married. Everyone's having kids. Like, what am I going to do?
A lot of pressure.
You're feeling pressure at this age, I think. I know everyone else is at a different age. Some people might be in their 30s with kids. Some people might not be. But personally, for us, I just think this year just feel different. We're definitely at that stage where we want to lock in. We want to achieve so much before we settle. Yeah. So it is all about the pressure and you feel under pressure. But then at the same time, it feels like a good year. Everyone's talking about it at the minute on social media. It's meant to be, 2026 is meant to be the new 2016.
It's what you make it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it definitely feels different for me, and you've said it feels different for you.
I think a lot's happened, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, we've had so much transformation mentally,
exactly.
physically.
Everyone's been through their own stuff, and everything that you've been through puts you to where you are now, and then that dictates what your goals are going to be going on forward. So we're going to touch on that during this episode, our own goals and stuff, and hopefully it'll help you try and think about your goals and where you want to be. But like we say, everyone's different and we're at total different stages in our life. We're nearly knocking on 30 now. You do feel that pressure. But I actually seen a quote on Instagram the other day that said, at 30-year-old, you are only just flowering. Like, you've literally just... You had the first 10 to 20 years of your life, you couldn't drive, you couldn't drink, you couldn't do anything. So actually, this is your prime, I think, personally. Yeah. But yeah, it feels different.
We're only just starting, really.
I know. Friends season 1 was when you were 20. They were all 27 in Friends season 1, How I Met Your Mother.
I heard about that.
So
crazy to think, isn't it?
Definitely. But I feel like this year the motivation's hitting, the mindset's hitting.
Yeah, we're locking in.
And we're locking in.
I feel like we already started.
Yeah, we did start at the end of last year, but I feel like New Year always means new beginnings, fresh starts for people. So that's why we thought this episode would be a great one to kick off the new year. And yeah, everyone's going through something different, but hopefully you might take away something from this episode today that's going to allow you to plan for your 2026 and you can do it in your own way. Just hopefully.
I think there's definitely something sort of magical about putting a pen to paper and just writing stuff down, because you can think in your head, oh yeah, so I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and then you forget about it, and then you just go on to your day-to-day life, your old routine that you're comfortable with, and you just carry on and you don't take any action towards your goals. So I think when you put a pen to paper and you're writing stuff down, it's sort of like you're committing to it and it stays in your head better. I think I feel like I personally remember more when I'm writing stuff down or reading something. Yeah. So it's definitely important, I think, to, whilst you're watching this episode, to be writing down everything.
But also be mindful of what I've just said. It is dopamine hit. Writing them goals down. It is scientifically proven to be a dopamine hit, to write habits, to build habits, to write a vision, do a vision board. And then once that dopamine's gone, it all relies on your motivation, your determination, and your discipline. So that's what we're going to get into.
Mm-hmm. So the first section of this episode is going to be about what we're leaving behind in 2025. So if you write that down in your notepad, what we're taking and leaving in 2025. So everyone rushes into the new year with the new goals. But before we talk about what we want and who we want to be, it's really important to reflect, because you can't move forward properly if you haven't looked back, honestly.
Yeah, because growth isn't just about adding more and adding more goals. It's about letting go of what no longer aligns with you and your goals. So to kick off this section, we're going to start with what worked in 2025. So put that as a title in your notepad, what worked for you in 2025, and we're going to split this into 3 different sections. So it's going to be your habits that stuck in 2025 and what you're going to take into 2026. It's going to be your mindset shifts that you did in 2025 that you're going to take with you into the next year. And then it's also going to be what boundaries you are proud of that you accomplished in 2025 and you want to keep hold of them. So starting with habits, for example, we've sat over the past couple of days, tried to reflect on our 2025. It is a struggle. It is to sometimes to sit and we'll get into that at the end of this section, but it is a struggle sometimes. I think we did struggle looking back because I feel like 2025 was all over the place. But me personally, so I wrote down 3 habits. So my 3 habits were things like strength training 3 times a week. So I feel like this is something I tried to stick with at the start of the year, didn't do too well with it, but towards the end of the year, I got really into like a routine of strength training 3 times a week. It was reasonable for me. It wasn't too much. I wasn't doing it every day. And the past few months of 2025 feel like it's stuck. And I really want to stick to that in 2026. If I can up it, I can up it. If it stays to 3, I'll be happy. Things like reading a book every night before bed. It's good for the brain. I started doing that. And honestly, it's so nice just to chill out at the end of a day with a book, not your phone. And just, like, don't get me wrong, I didn't do it every single night, 'cause sometimes I'd be tired or whatever. But yeah, definitely enjoy that. It's good for the mindset, it's good for the brain. You can read a fantasy, you can read whatever you want. But that, for me, was a habit that I had and I like and I want to keep. And then another one, really random, portion controlling. I started portion controlling my meals before I went on my big holiday in the start of the year, and honestly felt such a difference from just portion controlling. I'm not thinking about calories or deficits or whatever, but just that reducing your portion sizes. Like, if you're going to have a pizza, don't eat a full one, have a half of one, save the rest. Like, stuff like that. And I feel like that worked for me, and it's something that I will take into 2026, definitely.
I feel like a lot of people, fries are too big for the belly. And sometimes if it's there, they'll just eat it.
If I'm starving, I can eat a full plate of pasta. Yeah. There's no need.
You shouldn't eat till you're full.
I always make enough pasta to feed a small village. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things. Like, my boyfriend eats a lot, and if I'm making 2 meals, I would always eat his portion, which you shouldn't do. No. So half your portions, honestly, such a game changer. And I feel like that's definitely something I want to take into 2025, is every meal just asking myself, have I got too much on my plate? So I do feel like that was a good one. So they're my 3 main ones. I feel like this section, jot down a few. It doesn't have to be loads. You could write a full list if you want. What were your habits?
One of my habits that I started around March 2025, I started really taking seriously my collagen intake and my nutrition drinks.
Yeah, you always say about your collagen.
Skincare. Yeah, I love it. It's so important, though. Like, as soon as you hit 25, your, like, collagen starts to deplete, and it's just, I think everyone, when you get over 25, I think you're more conscious of it, and you're more conscious of your skin aging. It's like my worst fear. But it's natural and all that. But I think the best way to improve your skin, your health, like your skincare all starts from within. So whatever you put in your body, it's so important. So I started taking that really seriously from March, and I have noticed a massive difference. And I'm definitely taking that into 2026 with me. It's like literally changed my life, my routines as well. That I want to run at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm like, really into my running at the moment. I started running as well last year. That was around March as well, I think, after I started taking my drinks. I just had all this energy and I just went out running, and I ended up doing half a marathon, and like I've got this new love for running, how I feel at the end of it. Reach my PBs, hit my PBs every time, and that was another one. And I also wrote down strength training too. I just really want to I feel like from the running I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, everyone's noticed your weight loss with running. It's like a weird running effect that I wish I could run.
Yeah,
but yeah,
honestly, the weight just dropped off me, but I feel like I've lost a lot of like muscle weight as well. Like,
yeah,
I really want to build that back up again, so I need to get right back into the strength training too.
like you say, this is a habit that you
yeah.
have been keeping in 2025. Like, you've been going to the gym. And it's
Yeah.
like another thing as well, like, these habits don't have to be things that you do alone. We go to the gym together. Like, we made sure our gym membership was in the same gym. Like, it's one of them things, like, we share a habit. If you share a habit with your friend, it's so good to try and achieve the habit together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So
that was mine.
that was yours.
That was mine.
So, like we've said, write down, you can pause this now or you can come back to it. Write down some habits that you did in 2025 that work for you and you want to take into 2026, because it's so good to keep those healthy habits. You don't need to create loads of new ones, you can just take the ones that you had. But then that leads us also to things such as mindset shifts. So, the way your mindset maybe shifted in 2025 that you want to take with you into 2026. So what were your mindset shifts? What did you put down for yours?
So I put down for mine, consistency matters more than motivation. So I feel like throughout the whole of 2025 I relied a lot. In fact, it wasn't the whole of 2025, it was probably part of 2024 as well, maybe the start of the year. I relied a lot on motivation to get up and do things and be active, and I've learned along the way that it's not the motivation that actually gets you doing the things that you want to do or you know that you should do. It's the discipline, it's the like motivation. I feel like it's temporary and it's not something that you should.
Yeah, you don't need to be motivated, you just need to be consistent.
You just need to be consistent and well disciplined. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're like groggy and you can't be bothered and you're like, oh, I can't really be bothered going to the gym, and then you don't go to the gym because of that emotion that you felt. Don't listen to that voice in your head that's telling you can't be bothered or you don't really feel like going to the gym today. You've got to just push through it. Even if you don't feel like doing it, you've got to push through it and just get it done. And then you always feel amazing after it. You
exactly.
never regret a gym session.
Yeah.
You always regret not going. So
even if you're not motivated before you go, once you've been, you feel all right afterwards. I think sometimes you just have to push the motivation aside, like unmotivation, and just say to yourself, right, well, I know I'm going to feel really good after this. And then at the end of the day, once you get to the end of the month and look back on your goals, it's the consistency that matters, not the motivation.
Exactly. Another one I wrote down was, not everything deserves my energy. So this is touching on who you surround yourself with, even at work, who you allow to come in. If you're busy and someone comes over and they're wanting something or they want help with something, I was really bad for just helping them, because I was there and I like to help people out. But I have learned, when I've really sat down with my thoughts, I've thought, if you're busy with something, don't stop doing what you need to do for yourself to help someone else. Like, you could easily just say, I'm actually really busy at the moment, but I'll come back in about half an hour, I'll be sorted then. For an example, like, I need to value my time.
Yeah, it was something you said you struggled with the start of the year as well, and then by the end of the year, because you're a manager, aren't you? So you've got to have that.
Yeah, it's really important. It's really important. For example, if you've had a long day at work or a long week at work, and your friends are maybe wanting to go out, or your family's, I do eyebrows, and I do a lot of it for my family. And an example of it is, I've just finished my last shift on a Friday. It's 5 o'clock. Just gonna go home, do what I want to do, make tea, have a nice chilled night. But my sister wants her eyebrows done, or my mum wants her eyebrows done, and it's a last minute thing. They've only just mentioned it that night, and a lot of times I have went and done it because I've not been doing anything else with my evening. But after I've done it, I've got home and I've been like, oh, like I've not really got much left of the evening now, and I feel like it drains my energy. I think it's just protecting that and using your time wisely, which that then also protects your energy as well, I think.
Yeah, so I think for me, my mindset shift that happened in 2025 was realising how self-aware I am. Yeah, I think sometimes just being aware of your self-awareness is kind of a good thing to have in your mindset, because I know I'm self-aware. You always say to me, it's so good that you're aware of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this year has definitely shifted in the sense that I'm starting to see that being self-aware is actually a blessing more than it is a curse, because at the start of the year I was so self-aware to the point where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've just done that or whatever. But actually, if you're self-aware, it means that you can kind of take a step back, reflect on what you've just done and be like, oh God, I did that a certain way. And then like you can kind of change that for next time. Whereas I think a lot of people, they'll do something, they don't even think about how what they've just done is affecting anyone around them.
It's definitely a blessing to have that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of situations this year where I've done something, told you afterwards, and you've said it's actually really good that you've been so aware that you've just done that.
Yeah.
And I do think it is a blessing. So it's definitely a shift in taking my own self-awareness, which used to actually be one of my main, like, that was one of the worst things about me. I was too self-critical. I was too, like, I would be in a room with loads of people and then I would go in a mood because I knew I'd just done something I shouldn't have, or said something too much. And then, but now I see it as a blessing because I'm like, well, I am really aware, and I've started to take into account and then sat back and realised what I've said or done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been one of my main mind shifts, is just acknowledging that I'm like that, but then kind of respecting it, because now I don't put myself down over it, which I used to all the time.
No.
But yeah, if your mindset, it could be literally anything. It could be anything that you think's changed in your brain, the psychology of the way you feel or think, and think, oh, well, I like the way that I dealt with that this year.
I'm going to carry that through to next year.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So after you've wrote down your mindset shifts, we're now moving on to boundaries that you're proud of.
I think boundaries is a tough one. Like, we both struggled with this section, didn't we? Like, I've literally came up with one boundary. It is a hard topic. We both said, we've sat and reflected before this episode to give you an idea of what we thought.
Yeah.
And I think this is a hard one because...
It took us 2 days.
I know. I think a boundary is like, you don't want to admit that you've crossed a boundary in your own... You don't... Like, it's just the same way you don't cross other people's boundaries, you don't cross your own. But mine, I think, it's quite deep, but it was self-respect, because I've learned a lot this year with friendships, relationships, family, situations as well, that I was always a people pleaser. I want to please everyone. I've always just got on with it, let things slide, because I just want to keep everyone happy. I want to keep everyone in my life. But actually, what you need to realise is you need to have the respect of stopping giving your energy to people that don't deserve it. Because, yeah, people just don't deserve your energy. Some people just don't. You can try and try and try and keep people happy, but they just don't deserve your energy. And I think sometimes you need to have a bit of self-respect, and that's your boundary. That's you're deciding that boundary, not anyone else.
I think people struggle as well with choosing peace over self-respect.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're around a certain person or certain people, listen to your body, how you feel when you're around them. How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel sad? Do you feel belittled? Do you feel self-conscious? And if you're feeling all these bad feelings, that's like your gut instinct telling you they're not your people. Like, if you're just putting up with that, like, that is going to affect you as well.
It's not just in relationships and friendships and stuff though, it's like work and stuff,
colleagues,
like, yeah.
Like, everything, that's just a little example.
It's like I've touched it on past episodes about feeling belittled, like, you just have to, I think this year is genuinely, well, not this year, but last year was genuinely the year where I stopped allowing people to make me feel like that and set that boundary of like, right, if they're starting to make me feel shit, then just see you later because I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I think they'll in the long term, if you do that as well, I think you'll be more well respected as well. If you've got to set these back, you're just gonna get walked all over if you accept disrespect.
Yeah. What was your boundary?
I think I've came so far in the past year in terms of getting myself up and active and doing things that better myself. I used to feel guilty when I had an off day or I got up a bit later than normal and I wasn't productive with my day, and I used to self-criticise a lot, and it used to actually put me in a mood when I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I think it is okay to have an off day now and again, just once. But I've definitely overcome that now and I don't feel guilty anymore. I've got myself into a routine, and yeah, if I have an off day, I don't criticise myself too much. I think it's important to not self-criticise, not judge yourself, and I think as well, going back to reflecting, me last year would be proud of me now.
It's like setting yourself like lines not to cross, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you've got up and you've done everything you need to do, so don't cross that line of sitting down at the end of the day and being like, oh, I'm so guilty now. You need to set yourself that boundary of being like, oh, well, actually, I've done everything I need to do today, so I'm allowed to have a time set on my ass.
Yeah.
So now that we've gone over everything that did work for you in 2025, it's time to look at what didn't work for you in 2025. And I know obviously when you look back at what did work for you, you're still reflecting on certain things that didn't. But this is all about those specific things that definitely didn't work for you and that you're going to leave behind and that you're not going to take into 2026. So we're going to start with patterns. Patterns you are done repeating in 2025 and you're not going to repeat them again in 2026. So for example, I think looking back at habits, I was really bad in 2025 where I honestly don't know if I've got something going on, maybe I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm really a routine set person. And if I say one week I go to the gym 3 times a week, done mint that week, but then at the end of the week something's put me off. Say I get to Thursday, my routine's completely done with it because I've had to do something that I didn't want to do or something's changed my routine. I'll sack everything off for the rest of the week and ignore the habits, and it like puts me out my routine. So that's a pattern that I don't want to keep repeating. I don't want to have something split my routine in half during the middle of the week and then I just leave it. I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to do that. It doesn't matter, I leave that. I need to get out of that pattern of when something breaks my routine slightly, that I just sack it off for the rest of the week or even the month, because that's definitely a pattern that I need to stop. But yeah, things like that. And then also another one that I had as well, which we touched on before, is like brushing off people's red flags. Like, if someone's giving you a bad vibe, just don't let it go, because then you're getting yourself in that cycle where you're allowing them to keep doing it again and again, even though they're showing you all the reasons why you shouldn't be staying friends with them or talking to them or allowing them in your life, even if it's people at work or whatever. Like, if someone gives you a big fat red flag, then stop it, because you're just going to keep going in this cycle of...
You need to call them up on it, don't you?
Exactly.
Otherwise it just builds up, doesn't it? It builds up and builds up.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it like one last time on that day that you're not in the mood, and you'll just end up reacting.
I know. But it's not even that. It's like you're allowing yourself to have that in your life, and it's just going to get into a bad cycle of you're going to have people like that around you week after week or year after year.
It goes back to the self-respect thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a pattern. It's one of them patterns. If other people's patterns, if their pattern is red flag after red flag or treating you a certain way, it's only you that can stop it. You can stop that pattern, even if it means cutting people off or having a word with someone. It's like you need to have that self-respect.
Sometimes it is a communication thing, and sometimes you do just... As soon as you say to them if something's upsetting you or offending you, or like if just say it to them, sometimes you could get the wrong end of the stick and they'll be very apologetic and they might not have realised they've came across that way, or sometimes they might not realise and they won't take accountability and and then that's when you cut them off.
Exactly.
Because they won't ever listen.
But at the end of the day, patterns are in everything. Relationships, work relationships, love relationships, friendships. Like, that is a pattern. If someone's been a certain way consistently, it's up to you to cut that, nip it in the bud and just stop it. So that's definitely something that I don't want to be doing in 2025, is allowing people to keep repeating their mistakes and red flags to me and get to the point where I'm like, right, stop. Or, right, either like, see you later, or you need to change your pattern because it's affecting me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were my patterns.
Patterns that I'm done repeating is going to bed late. That's a really bad one for me. That I think it will be a hard one for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot to do with my work schedule. When I'm finished work, because I've got other businesses to think about and work on, I feel like by the time I've actually sat down, it's time to go to bed, and it's time to, where I should probably be sleeping, but I feel like I've not had any me time, and I end up staying up because I just feel like I've been robbed of my night, but I haven't been robbed for my night because I've been working on my other businesses. I need to manage my time better.
Yeah, I was going to say it probably links to your time management. But
thing,
it's like where other people can relate. You work literally 8 till 5 every day. So you get home, you have your tea. By the time you've done all of that, it's nearly bedtime. And it's something that I can't personally relate to because I'm self-employed. And I feel like it does show the difference what people's patterns will be like, because your pattern is completely different to mine.
I think it's a thing of knowing what you need to do and getting it done as soon as you possibly can before you have the chance to sit down, doom scroll or whatever. There's been times where I have finished work, and before I get the chance to sit down, I'm straight into my gym gear at the gym. I do my workout, come back, make tea, and it is still early and I can still work on other things. I think it's I get easily distracted. I think that's what it is. I could be sitting I'm definitely better at being on my phone in terms of what I'm looking at.
It's definitely something you could go down a rabbit hole with, like procrastination. And
yeah, I think a lot of the stuff I look at, I'm looking at ideas or business ideas or inspiration, or I'm looking at podcasts or motivational things, but I don't need to be looking at that constantly. I feel like I've looked at that enough, and I know.
Oh like, God, I think we could do a whole episode on procrastination.
I know,
definitely.
It is quite bad sometimes, and I feel like if I wasn't doing that, I could have went to the gym, or I could have made a nicer meal. It does come down to time management and being aware of what needs done and getting it ticked off as soon as you can, and then you can get into bed earlier and you can have a nice night and get your 8 hours. That's the main thing. I need to get my 8 hours. That's my goal.
I think sometimes you've definitely just touched on the point of things like when you're looking at these patterns that you don't want to repeat, you need to also think, is it reasonable? Because like you say, you're going to bed early sounds like such an easy pattern to stop, but actually it's not, because then you have to start thinking about time management, how you're going to stop procrastinating, how you need to get shit done quicker. So actually that's actually a massive wormhole rather than just, I'm going to bed earlier. Because yeah, you can go to set yourself an alarm and go to bed at 10 o'clock, but then you haven't solved all your other problems of like, well, what did I do before 10 o'clock, and have I had a nice meal tonight, and have I went to the gym? So I think sometimes you do need to, this is why it's so good to split it into all these different sections and look at it all as a whole. And then when we get to the end of this episode, hopefully we've looked at all these issues, and then at the end we've been like, right, what am I going to do to fix all of these problems, but reasonably, and split that all into habits that will help us achieve those goals as a whole. So that's when you start thinking as well about maybe you've had goals in the past that maybe you were forcing yourself into, but you didn't want to do. So goals that were like rooted on pressure and not actually aligning with what you want to achieve. So like you could pressure yourself to go to bed early every night, but actually that's not achievable for you sometimes because you've had a long day at work, you need to go to the gym, you need to make a tea, and you've got 20 other things to do. So this next part is about what goals were rooted in pressure and not alignment. So what goals did you pressure yourself to do last year but actually don't align with where you need to be? So you could split this into things like anything really, like fitness, work, whatever. But for example, like one of mine last year was when it came to like fitness, I was forcing myself to try and do 10k steps every day. And people go on all over social media, get 10k steps in, get 10k steps in, that's how you're going to lose the weight. But it's not actually realistic for some people. Like, I'm self-employed and it sounds awful, but I am sat at a desk or the table or wherever for hours of the day. And the only way for me to get steps in that day is by going on a walk. But do you know how hard it is to get 10k steps in on a walk? Yeah. It's like an hour to 2 hours worth of walking. And by the time you have to get out and go do that, at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, I cannot be bothered doing this every day. But whereas like you at work, you probably hit that walking around the bistro all day. Like I'm sat at home, so it's not realistic for me, and I was pressuring myself to do it every day, and then I was feeling shit at the end of the day for not doing it. I've even invested in a walking pad, and that's still an extra however long walking to get 10k. So that's something that I'm going to scrap and put in the bin. So no 10k.
You've got to be realistic, and it matters what your schedule is.
Exactly.
Like, you've got to work it around your schedule and what's realistically.
You need to you need to stop feeling pressured by people on social media telling to do all these.
Not the same as yours.
Exactly, all these unrealistic goals, and you need to remember you need to put it to you. It's special to you and what your day-to-day life is. Yeah. So that's one example. Another for me was fitness as well. It's like calorie deficiting. I tried that last year, and do you know how awful you feel if you go over your calories and then you're watching the scales and then you're making yourself feel crap because you went 10 calories over because you wanted to have a biscuit? Like, it's like I said about the portion controlling. Calorie counting and deficiting for me was it was too personal, and I didn't like it. And actually, yes, you should technically be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. It's very scientific and it has got a point. But if you're portion controlling, you don't realise when you're portion controlling, you are actually calorie counting in a way because you're reducing your calories. And I, as a nurse, I do know calories do count, but you don't have to do a deficit. Like, work out more. If you're someone that never works out and you start working out, you're still going to see a difference. If you're someone that eats bloody 4 portions as one and you reduce that to 1 portion, you're going to see a difference. Try those things first. Stuff like that. I was forcing myself to do a calorie deficit when I've actually proven to myself these past few months I don't need to count my calories. I can just portion control. And then my other one that like I thought of as well was in business. I'm a content creator. I run about 4 different social media accounts, and I was at a point where I was trying to post every single day, and like I was stressing myself out and I was burning myself out, so that was not an achievable goal. But yeah, like things like that, like you need to remember, don't force yourself to do goals that you're not going to enjoy, because then you're just going to hate it and you're not going to want to do it. What were yours?
So for mine was chasing timelines that weren't mine. So for example, on social media, I am good at not comparing my life to others, but when you're seeing all these people at a similar age to us, and they're all having kids, getting married, doing all this and that, and like doing amazing things with business, and like I used to think to myself, right, by the time I'm this age, I want to be married, I want to have a family, I want to have this many kids and that. And I did feel like it was a lot of pressure, and as I was getting older, I know I'm only 27, but I feel like for a woman, time's ticking, isn't it? I feel like there is a lot of pressure. I do want kids eventually, and I feel like I was, in a way, getting a bit stressed because I was thinking, oh, like, that's not going to happen. Like, what I was thinking about, what I wanted, that's not going to happen. And I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to get there, but now I'm just...
It's such a good point to make.
Yeah, I think now I'm just kind of like, go with the flow. Like, God has a plan.
Like, you're in a totally different position this year to what you were last year. Totally. So yeah, your goals were that last year, but they're not this year, and that's all right. You can't force yourself to do all of that.
You can't put pressure on something that you can't control.
Exactly. Don't make goals that you can't control.
Yeah, that's the main thing, really, isn't it? Another one I wrote down was when I got into my running. Obviously I started following runners on Instagram and TikTok, and I was looking at how amazing they were doing and what time they got the 5k in, and I used to go out and run after not running for that long, and when I was far off it, and I used to think, oh my God, if they can do it, I can do it, but I felt like I was so far off, and I felt a lot of pressure each time I went out for a run to hit a PB, and I didn't always hit a PB, and I used to kick myself for it, but I think I need to be realistic and know that actually you need to just be training consistently. So I just need to not compare my journey in running to anyone else's. Like I know where I want to be in terms of running, and I'm just going to do everything I can to get there and not look at anyone else's PBs and compare mine to theirs, basically.
Yeah, it's like sometimes other people's goals pressure you into making your goals bigger than they should be.
Mm-hmm.
You need to remember that you're always... It's like, what's that saying? The turtle wins the race.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I'm on about. Sometimes it's not the rabbit that wins the race. Like, you can't force yourself to have higher setting goals because other people have mint goals. Like, it's like you said before.
You don't know how long they've trained for. You don't know what they've done to get there either.
Exactly, they could have been doing it for years.
Exactly, yeah. It's one of them, isn't it? It's silly, but I am a very competitive person, and I like to... I think when I did my half marathon, I set myself an unrealistic goal, and
it'll make you feel shit afterwards as well. Like, if you're trying to hit someone else's goal for your own goal, you're gonna feel so shit afterwards if you don't hit it.
I know, and I think as well when I did my half marathon, I didn't realise it was gonna be so hilly, and that's another thing. Like some people that get certain times that they haven't went up any hills, and this one, the one that I did, you had to do laps, and it was like massive hills on each lap, and that was just not the goal I wanted to get, was not reachable for that. But
no,
at least I did it.
You did do it,
counts,
yeah.
isn't it?
So yeah, it's just think about some goals that you feel like you just forced yourself into last year, and have a look back and just say, right, well, I'm not going to force myself to do that again.
Yeah.
So it kind of touches on as well the next topic as well, which is areas which you either overgave or where you under-prioritised yourself. So they can kind of come in together, they kind of can't. It is a very hard question. I feel like it's something that we definitely both struggled answering, because who wants to admit that you've overdone it or that you've under-prioritised yourself? But I feel,
It's all about reflection, isn't it?
when we actually reflected on this one together earlier on, and we found that we are two totally different people in this area, because, for example, I'm an only child, so to me, personally, I don't think I've ever overgave, and I know that sounds really selfish, but it sounds really bad, but I don't do things like, obviously I love people and I'll do anything for the people I love, but I've never overgave myself for stuff that I don't believe in, or like if people are asking, can you do this, can you do that, and it's like, no. But whereas you've come from you've got not a lot of siblings, but you've got like 4 siblings that you do anything for, and that's five. I know. I don't know why I was about to say 5, and I thought that sounds too much.
It's getting late, isn't it?
But yeah, I've been up since whatever time. But yeah, so literally, you've got siblings that you do anything for, and I feel like I don't have that. And I'd do anything for my family, don't get me wrong, but I think I am a very selfish person. Like, I don't overgive where I don't need to. And I don't know if it comes... I know, sometimes I don't know if it just comes from laziness. But I just don't feel like there's areas where I've overgave. I do feel like I definitely do under-prioritise myself, but I don't think I overgive. So, for example, what was you did overgiving, didn't you? So what did you...
Overgiving, yeah, like... I think I touched on this before, but yeah, I think with having a big family, I think it's very... You sort of feel like... I mean, I'd be there for them whenever they need it, but I think I need to remember that it is okay to be selfish sometimes when it comes to if you're tired or you're drained, or... I think it's just trying to be there for everyone.
It's impossible.
It's very draining. And even though, it's your siblings, like, I'll always be there for them whenever they need it. If that's just what you do. But I think I do overgive a lot.
I know. The amount of nights that you've texted... The amount of nights you've texted me, like, I haven't even had my tea yet. And I'm like, why? It's like 9 o'clock at night.
That's another thing, yeah. I do feel like I forget about myself sometimes.
It's not just with your family though. You do it at work. Like you come out of work late every night. Like
Yeah.
I think you're definitely an overgiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not bring that into 2026.
No. I think it is good. It's obviously good to do stuff for other people. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would do anything for my family. I really would. But sometimes you have to kind of set those boundaries and be like, well, actually, I'm eating my tea right now, or I still haven't had my tea, or I've just finished work. Can you give me an hour? And if you can't give me an hour now, can I do it tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's kind of them sort of things. You still want to help them out.
It's about respecting your own time over others, because you're the most important thing, really. I can go and help out my brothers or sisters or parents, whatever, with anything at all. But when I go around, because I am tired, I'm being like, I don't really have a lot to say because I'm tired, and like it kind of goes back to, you've got to respect your time, because then when you do feel like, right, yeah, I'm ready to come and help you, I can come and do this, whatever you need, then you go and you feel better, you feel more positive, because you've saved yourself that energy.
So you just have to kind of ask yourself, like, where am I overgiving? And to be honest, now we've spoke about it, you could probably think of more points, but I feel like when we were trying to reflect earlier, we couldn't really find much, could we?
Couldn't think of much.
No. Like, my point is more under prioritisation. So, for example, I give a service. I'm a content creator for weddings, and I give a service, and I don't just do it for weddings, I do it for other things as well. Like I've trialed UGC and stuff like that. And when I started this at the, like beginning to middle of 2025, I was doing like mediocre jobs, like really shit jobs. Like, no offense, but like more things that don't align with my kind of vibe, and I was taking really cheap jobs on, and then that kind of stuck throughout 2025, and it took me until the end to kind of get rid of that vibe, like allowing myself to do cheap jobs because I wanted to make the money. It's like, I need to know my worth, kind of thing. So that's where I felt like I really more under prioritised myself through the year, and it was more under prioritising my business and underestimating it. But like I say,
also argue with that in terms of, sometimes you've got to, with work, you've got to, to get your content, sometimes you do need to accept a few little...
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Do it for too long.
I definitely agree with that, but if I could go back and do it again, I know obviously there would be some things I would be saying no to. I think I said yes to too much.
Yeah.
And I definitely under prioritised me and my, because I knew when I was doing it that wasn't what I valued and didn't want to do, and then it just kind of affected the first half of my career, and then it's been like the back end of 2025 where I've started to change that. So definitely don't underestimate and under prioritise your alignment and values, because you're just going to end up stuck, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely two total different aspects of that question. So now we've touched base on everything that you need to leave behind in 2025. We've done what does work, all the habits that stuck, all of your mindset that's stuck. We've done everything that doesn't work. We've clearly pinpointed some great points there, and I'm sure you have as well. I'm sure it's prompted you to think about things that didn't work for you. But I think you need to take a step back as well and remember that even though all those things didn't work, it doesn't mean you've failed. Like, you've not failed at all in any of those stuff. It's just things that you've tried and they just haven't worked for you, have they?
It's all trial and error, isn't it?
Yeah, and you need to normalise that, like, failure is normal, and that's,
good. Like, you learn,
it's
character building. The more you fail, the more you learn.
Yeah, so don't use failure, like all those things you've just written down, look back on them and say to yourself, this is not me failing, this is me giving myself some feedback.
There's a little quote that I read the other day about failure, and it was, failure is success in progress.
That's a good one. I like that.
That lives in my head.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like as well, if we touch back onto what we were talking about the whole self-awareness thing as well, like self-awareness is a very empowering thing. Like, if you look back at all that stuff you've just wrote down, that means you are very self-aware, because you've been able to pinpoint things that went wrong, and no, you haven't failed, but you're aware they never worked. So don't criticise yourself because it didn't work. You need to remember that going forward, these are the things that you're going to improve on. And you need, exactly, and you need to emphasise that self-awareness isn't criticism. It's just you being aware that you've tried different things and have failed and not worked. So that means you're going to do them again better, you're going to adjust them, and you're going to make sure that things are realistic to you, your schedule, your life. And yeah, it's just whatever hasn't worked for you is always a lesson.
I watched someone's channel on YouTube. I actually watch it quite often. I think it's called Hard Knocks. And it's this guy that goes around and he asks millionaires and billionaires how they got to where they got to. And every single one of them have said that they failed like so many times, like hundreds of times before they actually got to where they got to. So it just kind of puts it in perspective, doesn't it? That yeah, like wherever you're wanting to be, what your goal is, expect to make mistakes. It's all part of the growth. It's all part of the game.
Every lesson is a blessing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've spoke about what we're leaving behind in 2025. Now we're going to talk about who we want to become in 2026.
Because that's the aim of the game. We're becoming her. I mean, anyone could watch this podcast, honestly. But yeah, you're now really focusing on who you've done all of that. You've reflected. You've put it to the side. Well, not to the side because you need to still take it forward with you. But now it's time to decide who you want to become, because then that's ultimately going to set the tone for how you're going to get there. Yeah. So you've got your notepad in front of you. You've reflected on 2025. Now I want you to write down these 4 questions to ask yourself. You can think about it while we're chatting, or you can do it afterwards. It's totally up to you. But I want you to think about who you want to become in 2026, what you're going to prioritise in 2026, what you're no longer going to tolerate in 2026, and how you're going to move through life differently.
So for me, the woman I want to become in 2026 is an inspiration to everyone. I want people to look up to me. I feel like I want to be known as someone who is good at what she does and inspires people to do better. I want to motivate people. That's like my main thing that I want. I want to become someone that manages her time efficiently, what we've kind of already touched base on earlier. I want to become someone that takes action and isn't just all talk, actually does what she puts her mind to. That's what I'm wanting to do. If I've got a plan, I feel like I'm really good at coming up with ideas, and I start doing them and then I fall off it if it's not working. So I do want to become someone that sticks to my word, basically.
So mine's the same as well. Like I've touched on it in past episodes, but I don't want to be that person that people like look down on and talk back to. I want to be someone that like I walk into a room and I inspire people and people look up to me as well. And I can do that. I want to do that by like prioritising like the business and my lifestyle. And I've got this whole thing, I mean everyone else is saying it as well, but 2026 is the new 2016. And honestly, I'm in a very not fortunate, because I'd be fortunate if I had kids, but we don't have kids yet. I want to live my life. I want to use this year to build my memory bank up. I want to make more memories. I want to be able to look back at my life and think, wow, what a life she lived. So I definitely want to be that person that's like always doing some mint, but then still prioritising business and life and still has a good mindset, because I'll touch on this in other episodes, but like from where I lived up until the past few years, it's not been where I should have been or wanted to be, and I want to take that going forward and be the person that little me would have looked at and thought, I want to be like her. But yeah, mine's the same, just like not tolerating things that just don't align with me anymore. So if you write down 3 to 5 core goals that you want to achieve to get to where you want to be as a person or in life, then this is like the ultimate starting point to get you there. Because like you say, you can't just have a big massive idea of who you want to be and not do anything about it. So you need to kind of make these realistic goals, and then within these goals you can create habits that will get you towards those goals. Because you can have a goal, but don't make it really vague, like I want to be rich. Like you need to kind of null it down to like, I want to make so much this year, or I want my business to get to this point this year. And then you can start thinking about the habits that are going to get you there, because you need to be realistic. You can't be like, oh, I want to live in a mansion or something like that that's going to take you years to achieve, because you're thinking about this year alone. So we're going to talk about 3 to 5 core goals that we've set each of us for, like we've just said, who we want to be, and then the habits that's going to get us there, and then also one non-negotiable for the year. So you also need to start thinking about that, is what is your non-negotiable for this year that you're going to try and stick to. Just that one thing, doesn't have to be all of them, because if you fall off a habit, it's like we said, failure is failure. You have to learn from that. But if you try and stick to that one simple non-negotiable, I'm sure you'll get somewhere. So bearing in mind what Kim just said about who she wants to be, what were your habits that you wrote down to get you there?
So my habits would be, definitely need to improve on my life admin, which I've definitely got a lot better at. I've put down fitness. When I was talking about running and hitting PBs, I've wrote down a goal of wanting to hit sub 25 on a 5k run. So what I'm going to do to get there is I'm going to train 3 to 4 times per week. I've actually recently downloaded Runner. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. You probably have. That's meant to be really good at helping you reach your goals in terms of running. And then I've just bought a Fitbit off Kaylee's boyfriend.
Or Apple Watch.
Apple Watch that I've just set up. I'm really getting into it. I've just got myself a new gym set and some new running trainers as well. I'm excited. Another goal of mine is to start investing my money in stock markets, and I know of a few people that are into it as well, so I'm definitely going to reach out to them and ask for advice. One of my non-negotiables is discipline. That is just something that I have to prove at, I have to do for this year. I can't just do anything off motivation. I have to just do it whether I feel like doing it or not. And that's just the main thing.
It's
I think
like,
once
yeah,
you've got discipline, that's the main skill to have.
Yeah, it's like what you were saying before, like if you've got an idea or you're trying to get something done, like get it done. Like stay disciplined, don't just leave it. But yeah, like really good points for your goals. You need to set realistic goals with realistic habits. It's going to help you get to those goals. For me, mine's like, I want to be happy in my own body. It's like I said earlier, I'm not someone that's bothered about calorie deficits, and I'm not bothered about how much weights I lift or hitting personal best. I just want to, by the end of the year, just feel more comfortable in my own body. So things like I've started 75 medium, getting my steps in, but realistically, like not 10k, maybe 8k plus. And then like the strength training 3 times a week, try and keep that up. And then my other goal as well, like I want to stay enriched in my mind. Like I want my mind to work properly. I'm really bad for like doing something and like, say if I'm making my breakfast, to go put the spoon in the fridge rather than the milk, like stuff like that. I want to like discipline my mind. So that things like less screen time. I've set a downtime on my phone. I'm going to have less screen time this year. Like I'm sick of scrolling all the time. That's like I said about the reading on an evening, or just reading in general rather than scrolling. It could be any book. It could be a self-help book or a scientific book or a fictional book, just whichever. And then I also want my businesses to thrive. By the end of the year, I want to be really happy with where my businesses are. I want to build up my reputation and my credibility in my business as well. So for things that, it could be like my content scheduling, make sure I'm scheduling my content every week, sticking to a plan, and time blocking my week as well, because I work from home, so it's so easy to get distracted by your phone or getting up and doing something else or leaving the house. I need to time block every week, things like that'll help me achieve that goal. And then, like I said before, I want to rack up my memory bank. Like I want to make memories this year, so that's things like saying yes more. Like if someone's like, oh, what are you doing next week? Do you want to go out or something like that? It's more of like, no, sorry, I'm busy. It's like, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Like me and you recently, I've been like, should we go do this? And you've been like, oh, I don't know. But in the end, you're like, oh yeah, and then we have a good time. Like it's stuff like that. And also like making more plans. We've tried to start making some plans for this year. And then getting out more as well, like going for walks and stuff. I think just getting out the house and stopping staring at a screen all day. So they're like my goals and my habits, and it's all going to link. And it's like you said with yours, your goal can be, it doesn't have to be really, really like pinpointed. It can be vague, but you still need, as long as you've got all those little habits, you'll soon get there in the end. And I think that's where people need to realise that you can't just have a big massive goal. You need to have all the habits that's going to get you there as well.
So now we've looked into everything from 2025, what we're leaving behind, what we're bringing into 2026, our goals, our habits that we're going to do to reach those goals. Now we're going to plan realistically and how we're going to achieve everything.
Yeah, so it's all about realistically putting all these plans into place, because you need to have a system going on, because you can't just do all these goals, keep them in your notepad like we said at the beginning, put them in a drawer and just forget about them. So what are you going to do now with all these goals and habits, and how are you going to put this in a way that you're going to remember it all year? So we've spent the past couple of weeks trying to do it ourselves, so we're going to kind of relate to you what we think is the best way to go about this, and then you can go on and you can have a go and then try and make it so that these habits stick throughout the year. So, for example, the main one everyone does is a vision board. Everyone does a vision board. It's so fun to do. It hits that dopamine. It's aesthetically pleasing if you do it on Pinterest or whatever. But we were researching this a couple of weeks ago when we were doing our vision boards, and I think something that stuck with us specifically was probably a massive inspiration of ours is Grace Beverley. She does her vision boards in the most unreal way, and we've kind of took that on board. So you can maybe go look at her, the way she does the vision board, but she splits it into 3 specific questions that she asks herself, and it's outlining more like being like goal-driven vision boards. Don't just take a load of pictures off Pinterest and just kind of put them all together. You need to kind of ask yourself, what are my goals for this year? Like, who do I want to be? How do I want to live? And then what do I want to do? So they're like the 3 questions that kind of you need to ask yourself, which is really good, and we did it. And if you kind of ask yourself those questions and then think of like little sub questions for each one of those and make maybe a mind map or something.
It's got to be structured.
Yeah, figure all that out. Once you've figured it all out and you've laid it out in words first, then you can start going and getting your pictures to match your kind of aesthetic and who you want to be and how you want to do it. And then you can create a vision board, but it needs to be goal driven. It can't just be, oh my God, I want loads of money and I want a massive mansion. And then you've got pictures of mansions and money and fancy cars. Like, it needs to be realistic.
The 2026 vision board. So, yeah, you can do a separate vision board.
Yeah. You could do a life vision board, but this is for next year. What do you want to achieve next year? You've just wrote all your goals down. We've been as realistic as possible. You've created your habits. So now how do you want to go ahead with those? And then obviously you've got all these goals, so you need to create a home for them. So for my advice, for me personally, I love Notion. So I'll maybe make a page on Notion and I'll put all my goals on there, make it into a gallery, write all your goals down, and then make a home for them, stick them on the whiteboard in your bedroom, make a big poster, set them as your lock screen, do whatever you want, but
something that you're gonna look at every day. I think when you wake up, what do you see when you first wake up? When I wake up, I go downstairs and I have a drink of water. I could put the vision board somewhere in the kitchen, something that you're gonna look at every day.
It's like writing your goals. You could write your goals in your planner. You could just literally do anything. Something where they're visible to you.
Living space.
You can always look back and have a look at them. And then another thing as well that I think is really good to do as well is have like a reset, reset your space. Like if you've got a desk, reset your desk, get rid of all the rubbish, or reset your bedroom, or reset your wardrobe. Don't go mental, don't spend too much time on it, but just having we've just put our Christmas decorations down and I feel like a new woman. Like, my house is so clean, and it honestly just gives you that motivation to want to achieve those goals, I think.
It's like clears your mind, doesn't it? You've got a clear space, you've got a clear mind. I think the habits are really important because it's something that you keep doing every day. It leads to a routine, and once you've got your routine, then it's easy to stick to. It's easy to stick to those habits because you're doing it every day. So the daily habits that you need to do to get to your goal, write them down. You can download an app. Kaylee uses an app, don't you?
Yeah, it's literally just called Habit, and you can put all your habits in. I mean, obviously the free version you can only put I think it's 6 habits in, but it's so good to just tick your habits off every day once you've done them, and it's like a little reward. Like a reward. It's like a little reward. Every time you do a habit, you tick it off, and it honestly is that dopamine hit of, oh my God, I've finished that habit, now I get to tick it off, and it is so good at the end of the day. Definitely like a little reward. I love it. If
you're struggling to plan the full year ahead now, you can also just plan it seasonally as well. You can plan now, your goals for January, or your goals for January and February, or you can plan your goals for the summertime, what you want to do or what you want to do now to achieve where you want to be in the summer. That could be less overwhelming if you're someone that can get overwhelmed with planning so far in advance. So just go at your own pace, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But there's no pressure on anything. Just read, after you've watched this episode, read through everything that you wrote down, go over everything and start planning whatever way you feel more comfortable with, whether it's for the full year or whether it's just for the month. Write it all down and just remember not to put any pressure on yourself.
But it's like as well, like some people do get overwhelmed by loads of goals and habits, and some people like to break them down. Some people have loads, but then it's at the point where you need to think, right, am I going to get obsessed now tracking these habits? Like I said, ticking them off the dopamine hit. Like, you don't want to over analyze it or over obsess it. You don't want to get to the point where every day you're like, I need to do these habits, I need to do. Like, you need to just chill out and remember that you're doing it for you and you need to do it at your own pace. So if you are going to get a habit app or write them in your journal or put them on your Notion, if you try to do it on one platform alone, I mean, I do it on a couple because I have my habit app, and then I also do, like, for example, my 75 medium on my Notion, which means I'm ticking 2 things off a day. But for me, that's enough. Don't do it in your journal and do it on an app and do it on Notion all at once. Just try and stick to something that works for you, that's quick and easy. It's still going to give you a little dopamine hit at the end of the day, and then you can tick it off and you know you've done it, because it is easy to obsess over them. And then you're also then going to get to the point where you start self-criticising and thinking you failed if you miss a day. It's okay to miss a day. When I started my 75 medium, for the first 3 days, there was 2 habits on there that I didn't tick for 3 days, but it was the new year and I was starting it, and you just need to remember not to make yourself feel bad and obsess over missing habits or trying to get them done every single day.
Because once you start getting into that routine of doing it consistently, whether you miss a day or not, as long as you get back to it the next day and you build that sort of routine, you're going to end up not missing a day, because you'll end up getting into that much of you'll end up committing to it, and you'll end up enjoying ticking it off and looking back at your progress, and it'll be good to look back at your progress and reflect. Remember to reflect, because after maybe every 2 weeks or every month, look back at what you've ticked off, what you haven't ticked off, and I think that's important too.
Yeah, it is. It's like we were saying before, it needs to be realistic. Yeah. Don't force yourself, and just try and enjoy it, because there's no point in having 10 habits that you are going to hate, like doing far too many steps or calorie counting if you hate it. There's no point in it. Just do stuff that is going to benefit you, that you're going to enjoy as well. So, looking back at this whole episode, what we've gone through last year, we've gone through who you want to become this year, and then we've also gone through how you're going to get there. Hopefully you're going to take something away, go back, pause, write down, reflect, and then hopefully this will set you up for the start of the year. It doesn't have to be massive. I think after everything we've said, the main points to take here is that you need to set realistic goals, habits that are going to make you achieve those goals, literally sub-habit your goals and your habits under your goals, and then use them.
Set a plan in place to get there, a system in place.
It's not about creating 20 vision boards or 40 million goals. It's about setting realistic goals for you, and if you're someone that's overwhelmed, do it seasonally, don't do it yearly. You do it your own way, and you're always going to find a way to do it. But hopefully this episode has kind of laid out a plan for you and questions to ask yourself to start off the new year.
Yeah, hopefully it's gave you the kick up the bum that you've needed.
So it's time to lock in for 2026.
Yeah, stop waiting around. Stop saying you'll start tomorrow. Stop saying you'll start on Monday. Just do it now. Whatever time it is now, it doesn't matter. Whether it's early in the morning, whether it's late at night, doesn't matter. Whatever you know you need to do, just do it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when it is. You need to remember that becoming the best version of you is a daily choice. it's not something that you map out for the year and then you get 2 months in, realise that you failed at half of the goals you wanted to achieve, and then you just give up for the rest of the year. You can start any time. You can start in February, March, April. It doesn't have to be January. If you fail trying to get those goals in for a few days, just stop, reevaluate and start again. Assess what's working for you, and something's not working for you, then stop it or change it, shift it up a little bit. But always reflect. Look back at your goals every month and reflect, and then decide if is this working for me, because you don't have to map your full year out now. It's just a case of deciding what you think.
It's just getting started with those habits.
Yeah.
It's the habits. It's the small wins that
Exactly.
you do every day.
So we want you to take this time right now. We want you to decide on a few words, maybe some goals or intentions that you've came up with during this episode, and we want you to pop them in the comments, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Honestly, message us if you want. Let us know what your intentions are for this year, who you want to become, even if it's just one word. Pop it in the comments and let us know, because we're going to be doing this together.
If you share this episode with someone else that's locking in, whether it's a friend, colleague, family member, like, share, subscribe to the channel,
because
if you'd like to see more videos
exactly
like this.
Because we're going to be touching more on accountability in January. We're going to be doing more episodes on how you can become that version of that person you want to be, and we're going to try and structure January so that it's all really focused on goals and
achieving them.
But yeah, becoming more confident and kind of things that you can do to better yourself. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday for another episode after we've had this lovely festive break.
We've had our time off work, we've had our festive break. It's 2026 now, and it's time. It's really time to lock in, get serious about your goals.
Exactly. And next week,
yourself.
Next week we're going to be touching on protecting your energy in 2026. That'll be an amazing episode. So
definitely.
Tune in for that episode next week. Let us know what you thought of today. Don't forget, this is only our 2nd episode.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of figuring this out as well. So let us know what you think. Pop us a message, a comment.
Constructive criticism.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.